Hi, I'm Sajag Patel with the Bold Real Estate Consultants here with Chris Mascarino. And today we're going to discuss considering a change in a career. So, Chris, you came from an industry outside of real estate. What
Right.
led you, what was your thought process that brought you to real estate?
It's a great question. Some people watching may know what I've done in the past and had a few different businesses. But I went through a full process, I guess, of what industry to get into. And I looked into a bunch of different ones before I chose real estate, from insurance sales to finance, to creating or starting a management company, and a few other industries as well. But when it came down to it, after meeting with you, I made the decision that real estate had the most to offer right now and was a great fit for me, and had the most opportunity for me down the road as well. So I took all that into consideration before I made that choice to
Okay,
get
so
into real estate.
opportunities was the key word there.
Mhm.
Okay. So, what led you to the decision of being on a team versus being an individual agent?
So through the whole process, interviewed with a lot of different companies, a lot of great companies, and some of the real estate agencies had teams. Others were you were an individual agent and pretty much on your own. And there was pros and cons to each scenario and situation. But what I found with a team, there's a lot more advantages that you have. The one thing that it boiled down for me was leverage. If you haven't ran a business before, being your own individual agent, I felt is much like starting your own business from scratch with a little bit of support. You got to come up with your own systems, you got to come up with your own marketing, you got to pay for all those things. And if you don't have a well thought out plan or business plan, it could be very overwhelming and could complicate your success. Not in all scenarios, but in some. With the team, you have the leverage already built in. You have that support system. You have the marketing set up. You have the closing managers. You have the support staff just for all the data entry and things of that nature. So when I talk about leverage, it's leveraging those tools and people so that I can focus on what's going to make me the most money, and that is getting listings and working with buyers and selling homes.
So, Chris, you mentioned interviewing with multiple brokerages and teams. So, how many teams did you interview with?
I believe there was 3 or 4 teams that I interviewed with during this whole process. So a lot of different variations from team to team and how they operated and ran. Again, lots of pros, lots of cons. I narrowed it down to Bold and coming on board with you for a few main reasons. One was your vision, the team's vision was in line with mine. There's a lot of opportunity presented to me, and I looked at that as room to grow and to achieve more. So one of the things that was a big difference for me was there was structure put in place. There was a plan for training and the growth model, and a lot of other teams didn't have that. There was just, we're a team. We have people that are buyer agents, seller or listing agents, but there was no structure and no training or growth plan put in place for the individuals. And without that, I just didn't feel like I could achieve my ultimate success.
So, it sounds like you didn't just join a team and you joined a business.
Yeah, I did. I did.
Because you mentioned a couple things, the organizational chart.
Yeah.
You mentioned systems and models.
Right.
You've mentioned leverage.
Mm-hmm.
You've mentioned opportunity.
Right.
Mm-hmm. So all of these things sounds like it came from somewhere, right?
It does. It does.
Okay. And I believe it's called the Red Book.
It is. Yeah.
And we call that the Millionaire Real Estate Agent.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So what I've heard so far is a lot of the things that are found in the Millionaire Real Estate Agent.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, Chris, tell us a little bit more about what you've experienced roughly in the 5 months so far that you've been with the team.
Sure. So, from the get-go, obviously, you put together that 100-day plan for me,
Mm-hmm.
which we followed pretty tightly and closely. to make sure I was hitting the benchmarks and the goals that we needed me to hit in order for us to be successful, or me to be successful too. So that was great because it got me up to par, I guess, with the industry, what to expect, the lingo, the terms, how to work with sellers, how to work with buyers, and all the information needed to be a successful agent. And not to say that you can't learn these things on your own, but when you have those things in place like you and the team does, it just helps accelerate those things so we can achieve our goals and hit our benchmarks a lot quicker.
Okay. So there was a lot of training in the beginning. There was a lot of mentoring in the beginning. And you really weren't let loose right off the bat, right? I mean, it was pretty much we held you pretty tightly because we wanted to make sure that you succeeded at a high level, right?
Right.
So
it was tough.
It was tough, right? Because you wanted to go right off the bat, right?
Yeah.
And yet, what have you experienced in the last 60 days through the process of the training and building the pipeline? What have you really experienced in the last 60 days? Because you're on a pace right now that's not really experienced by most agents in their first year of the business.
Yeah. As hard and difficult it was to be held back and not be able to jump out there, because I'm used to doing that and just taking the bull by its horn, or horns rather. We took that time to make sure I was ready to just go out there on my own. Even though I could have done it probably beforehand, it just got me even more prepared and ready for those sales and those listings and those buyers and dealing and talking with them. So now I'm taking more listings and I'm working more efficiently and effectively towards those goals. And I've had, the last 2 months that have really been on my own have been hitting those numbers and goals that we need to hit to get to where we want to go and where I want to go in Rookie of the Year. And
Sure. And you've mentioned goals several times. Now, whose goals are these?
Well, they're mine.
They're your goals, right?
Yeah.
And there's some accountability that's put in place too.
Right.
And the accountability is held to whose goals?
Mine.
Yours, right? They're not my goals.
No.
They're yours.
Do I keep saying yours?
No, I just want to be clear on this, right? Because I think it's important because a lot of people are afraid of accountability,
Sure.
right? And yet the accountability is towards what you want to achieve and what you've established for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
It's not what I've set for yourself.
Right.
And I'm only holding you accountable to the activities.
Right.
The activities that are going to help you achieve that goal a lot faster,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I just want to be clear on that they're not my goals, they're
Right.
your goals, and
Right.
your goals are in alignment with our team's goals.
Sure.
Right?
Sure.
So, Chris,
But there's expectations too.
there's expectations too.
We
Okay,
have
so
to
go
do
ahead and
that.
talk a little bit about
So we have expectations where certain things we need to be doing to hit every month.
Absolutely.
Along with those are my goals, which are
Correct.
above and beyond those
Correct.
expectations.
And the expectations are put in place for what reason, Chris?
So expectations, those are there. I think it's a benchmark and as a guideline for what you need to do and hit to feed your family and be successful at a minimum level in real estate. So also it helps hold each other in the office accountable so that everybody's meeting and hitting their goals.
So what you've just identified is what we call in real estate the roller coaster ride that a lot of real estate agents ride. And that's where they go up and down in their business because once they get a few pieces of business under contract, they're too busy. They're not continuing their lead generation activities,
Sure.
which kind of gives them a straight line business where they got consistent income coming in. The standards that we have in place allows you to have that consistent income coming in.
Right.
Okay. So, Chris, what other opportunities do you see with both yourself and with Bold moving forward?
So, the opportunities I feel are endless. The sky's the limit as far as growth with Bold as an agent. Your downline with Keller Williams and building that aspect of it. Referrals, and the list goes on. There's so much more to it than I ever thought there was, that you can have multiple sources of income coming in so that, if there's a shift in the market, you can hopefully balance that out.
Mm-hmm.
And the shift is coming.
Right.
Right.
So, and the great part that I want to bring back is there's an organizational chart that allows you endless opportunities.
Right.
Right. It's kind of created those opportunities for you, and it's up to you on whether you want those or not.
Correct.
Right. And in order to achieve those opportunities, you have to hit certain benchmarks in production, or certain leadership skills have to be attained. Yet, really, it's up to you on who you become.
Sure.
Right?
Right.
And that's why we not only focus on your business goals, your personal goals, but we also help you achieve a growth plan that allows you to become that person to go get that opportunity.
Right. And actually, that's something I want to touch on that probably a lot of people don't even have in their current positions or ever have had, is that accountability aspect. Sitting down with you and going over the plan, the goals, and meeting with you once a week to make sure we're hitting those and staying on track to reach those benchmarks, those goals, so you can be successful or I can be successful, and the company can grow, the team can grow, and we can achieve what those long-term growth plans are.
Yeah, and I mean, a great quote that I love is "No one succeeds alone." Right?
Yeah,
we all succeed together as a team.
Mm-hmm.
Great. So, Chris, one final thought for our viewers.
Final thought: if you're thinking of making a change, you may not have thought about real estate. I didn't at first, but I'm glad I did, because it's been a great opportunity. It's been a great choice that I made. So talk to us. Call me. Call Sajag. We can get you in here. We can talk with you and at least have a conversation.
And those of them that are in real estate already, what would you have to say to them?
If you're not happy, give us a call.
If you're not happy, give us a call. It's pretty simple, right?
It is. I mean, it's not saying we're the right fit for everybody, but you never know.
Mm-hmm.
Again, what's 20, 30-minute conversation going to hurt?
Okay. Sounds great. Thank you. Have a great day.